We're now being joined on the news at 10 by a lawyer and security expert and Sub-Saharan Africa analyst at the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change, Mr. Bulama Bukati. He joins us from London. You're welcome to the news at 10.
Thank you very much for having me.
Our pleasure. We begin with getting your view on the demands and recommendations of the governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, to the federal government delegation over this issue, which includes the provision of mine-resistant armored personnel carriers and the recruitment of mercenaries.
Yeah, I think most of the governor's recommendations are very well in place. They are very sensible recommendations. They are around strengthening further our military and our international relations around the multinational joint task force so that our military will be better placed to defeat Boko Haram. But I am not sure of his recommendation around mercenaries because it brings up constitutional issues. Our constitution only recognizes our military to secure our borders and our security, and then our police to police the country. And mercenaries are usually non-nationals, non-members of any regular army, being hired for with material inducement to come and fight. So there are constitutional issues there. Also, mercenaries are known to commit human rights abuses in other countries, including torture and recruitment of child soldiers, gender-based violence and sexual-based violence, and many others. So I wouldn't support the recruitment of mercenaries or hiring of mercenaries, but I totally support all other recommendations.
Apart from flushing out the insurgents, getting the people back to their communities and their livelihood must be a very key part of the assignment. In view of what happened last weekend, what would you ask to be done to ensure that the peaceful return of the people after the years of insurgency occurs?
I think there should be short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals in the fight against the insurgency. And I think the immediate need is to contain the violence, strengthen our security forces to contain the violence, and most of the governor's recommendations are around that. But after you do that, or while you do that, you also need to address the root causes of the violence. We know that Boko Haram peddles and thrives on a perverse interpretation of Islam, an ideology that frames its violence as a war justified by God, which is rewarded by God, and that mindset needs to be addressed. They also exploit poverty, inequality, illiteracy, population expulsion, and other socio-economic crises or issues in that part of the country. All these issues would have to be addressed in the medium and the long term. But also the building of the lives and livelihood of Boko Haram survivors. About 2.5 million people are currently displaced. They need to be reintegrated. Some of them are displaced outside Nigeria, and therefore they are refugees outside Nigeria. About a year ago, I visited some of them in Chad, and I met about 13,000 Nigerians in a refugee camp in Chad. They want to come back to home. They want to come back home. But unfortunately, their areas are yet to be secured, and I think government's attention should be around containing the violence, securing community, and ensuring that communities are back to their places and their livelihoods are built.
We pray and we hope that that happens. But finally, is there anything different that could be done to secure the northern region beyond what is being done now?
I think the danger of what we are seeing now is that rural communities are being displaced. About 90% of Boko Haram's recent attacks are against villagers, most of whom are farmers. And this is a threat to food security in Nigeria. Now, that's something we need to address. Perhaps the Nigerian military might need to reconsider their super camp strategy, by which they withdrew the military from rural communities and areas and consolidated them in super camps. This strategy has succeeded in reducing military fatalities, but it has exposed communities to Boko Haram's attacks. And I think that strategy needs to be revisited. We know that our military is trying, but it needs to do better. The federal government needs to support the military better, like the presidency itself acknowledged earlier today, with weapons and equipment, especially intelligence and communication equipment, so that they can defeat this group and start rebuilding lives.
We certainly hope that that happens and an end comes to these very, very terrible occurrences. Thank you so much for coming on the News at 10, Mr. Bulama Bokati, Sub-Saharan African analyst at the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change in London.
Thank you for having me.